Hello, welcome to Cami Designs, and I'm going to go over how to crochet on a budget and some of the things that I use when I'm crocheting. But first I want to show you that there is a difference between crochet and knit. If you're new to yarn crafts, you might not know there's a difference. So I'm just going to show you a few projects of mine, crochet and then versus knit. This is the newest pattern I've created. It is a cowl. You can find the pattern on my Ravelry Designs page, and I will put a link in there if you would like to learn how to do this. Another crochet pattern is like this. And this is also on my design page, and I will put a link into the descriptions where you can find these patterns. Knit patterns look more like this, where your stitches are going vertical in this. And you can see the little V's. That is knit. So first you want to figure out what kind of patterns you want to do. And you can find patterns in books, online, at the library is a good source to go and get a couple books on crocheting and find out what you want to make. And then next I'm going to cover hooks. Crochet has hooks, all different sizes. You have your little sizes that have a little, let's see here, little tiny hook on them. And this is more for lace work and doilies and small little things. Then you have your bigger hooks, and they have a size on them and the millimeter size. So a letter size and a millimeter size. Then you have your average hooks. So this is an I. I's and H's are what you will use in most of my patterns, because I use a number 4 yarn, which I will go over that shortly. There are also big hooks, and this is plastic, and this is for bulky yarn. There are there are different types of hooks too. You'll see a lot of people now are using hooks that have a wide handle for grip. I get these at Walmart. They're not too expensive. The Dollar Tree even has some hooks now. So you can pretty much find what you're comfortable with. If you want to just see if you even like crochet, I would recommend just going to the Dollar Tree and getting one hook and a skein of yarn and practicing. See if you even like it. Because some people prefer knit and some people like crochet. It all is a personal preference. Now this hook style, see how it's a smooth hook. It's not sharp. This is a Boye, B-O-Y-E. That's the brand. Then there's hooks like this that have a sharp point, and it's pretty sharp. And it's got a deep slant. And this is by Susan Bates. So that's just a few different brands that I have. Now I'll go for the yarn. There's a couple different types of yarn. So this is Red Heart Super Saver Stripes. And it's a size 4, and I'll tell you what size needle to go with. Or hook, I should say. And this recommends I, which is 9 millimeter. I9, it says. So let me find an I. This is an I9. And it's a 5.25 millimeter. And so they recommend this size hook for this size yarn. Another yarn I use is Just Yarn Premier Worst Weighted. And this you can get at the Dollar Tree. So if you want to just get into it, I would recommend just buying a hook and one skein of yarn. And seeing if you like it, and just do a couple basic stitches. Another thing is, this is bulky. Super bulky. And I actually got this on clearance. So if you want to get really nice yarn, and you're on a budget, wait for it to go on clearance or go on sale, and just, you know, watch some of the big stores and wait and see when they have sales, and then order it then. Another type is this yarn. This is really fine yarn. And this is for all these little tiny hooks. And this will do doilies and lace and just the little things, and bookmarks and things like that. Next, I'm going to show you some of the ways you can find patterns. You can get magazines, and here are different books. And I am left-handed, so it's hard to find stitch books that show you how to do it left-handed. Because if you look in some of these books, everything is done right-handed. So in my videos, I will show you how to do the stitch left-handed. You can also find books at the library. This is a library book, and this is just stitches, and it'll show me how to do stitches. Get these out of the way here. Now I want to go over some of the things that I use that you might not necessarily need, but if you find out you do really like to crochet, or you already know you like crocheting and you just want to learn some more things and find some of the accessories that I use. First thing, one of the things is yarn needles. These you will need to weave in the ends of your pattern. So like this, I will just feed it through there and then weave it in so that I don't have any loose ends. Another thing is, I recommend getting some stitch markers. Now there are a difference between stitch markers for crochet and stitch markers for knit, and they don't work the same. If you get one of these that are complete circles, there is no breaking them. Those are knit ones. They will not work for crochet because they will get trapped in your crochet project. So when you're crocheting, you need stitch markers that open, and they sell different kinds. They have these kind, which are, once again, the Boy brand. And they have these little things, if I can get this little case open, that are just like a little screw, I guess. They just screw onto your yarn. I'm not a big fan of these. They came in a kit. I use them when absolutely necessary. They also have stitch markers that look like this. And you can get a set of like 700 of these for like $7 on Amazon. So not too expensive. Or you can get a package of this kind. And these just slip on. They open like that and they just slip onto your yarn. Now, you can, if you don't want to buy stitch markers or they're too expensive, you can use bobby pins. You can use paper clips, anything that has an opening you can use, because you're going to need to be able to take it back off. And the reason why you can't use full circle ones is because when you knit, it follows the stitches. It goes on your needles. With crochet, I'll show you an example, you have to be able to take it off your stitches. And so full circle ones do not work. Other things that I use is a stitch counter or a row counter. So when you're doing something like this, for example, you need to know, and your pattern calls for 26 rows. You need to know how many rows you're doing. So every time you finish a row, you click. And you can get this on Amazon for, I think I got it for $3. Or you can use a piece of paper and a pencil. That works perfectly fine too. It just depends on how invested you want to get into this craft. This right here is a hook holder. So you can find different ones. They come in different varieties. You can even just put it in a pencil case. That works fine too. And you can also get pencil cases at the Dollar Tree. And you just slide your hooks in here. They have different sizes for different hooks. Just like that. And then it just Velcro's closed. Another thing I use is a tape measure. Sometimes a crochet pattern will just tell you to, like this pattern here, you're just doing the same stitch every row. So sometimes instead of telling you how many rows to do, they'll tell you to continue this row for a certain amount of inches. And so a tape measure is needed. Another thing that you'll need is some kind of scissors, something to cut your thread with. When you're done with the project, it'll say cut and finish or tie a knot. So you'll need something to cut with. Any scissors work. This you can get in multiple different accessory kits for knitting and crochet. Another thing I always keep with my yarn stuff that a lot of people don't think about is lotion. My hands get really dry. I tend to wash them a lot in my job, but also when you're using yarn and you're constantly having to, it's running through your fingers, my hands get really dry. So I always keep a lotion. And you want one that smells good, that you really like the smell, because when you're working with your yarn will absorb some of the smell of your lotion. So if you want, you can use unscented. This is the lotion I'm using currently. It's just a white pumpkin. You can get it at Bath and Body Works. And let's see, what else? Oh, other things I use. Sometimes my hands hurt if I'm holding my hook too hard, or I'm clenching my pattern, my finished product really hard. My hands start to hurt, and I use these arthritis gloves. Once again, you can get them on Amazon for like $7, or you can go to Walgreens and spend like $20. I don't know about you, but I like a deal. So you can get these. You can get them in black, gray. These are pink, obviously. I think you can get them in white. And I like pink, so that's what I got. Another thing I got is this. This is a neckline. My mother crochets, and she got one of these and really likes them. They're really good when you're working with black yarn, or if you're not in a well-lit area and you need to see your stitches. This just goes around your neck, and this points up over your shoulders, and it's got a few different settings. And then it's got also different dimness, so you can go by what works for you. Also, I'll show you the brand here. It is rechargeable. It does not take batteries, which is wonderful. And it doesn't take long to charge. I think it takes an hour to charge, and it's back up to brightness and wonderful. Other things I use is, this is a stitch holder. This is by Knitter's Pride, but it works for crochet just the same. Knitter's Pride does sell crochet hooks. I don't have any of their hooks because sometimes they're expensive, and I go with what I can find at my local Walmart. Not saying I wouldn't like Knitter's Pride, but that's what I have. This here, I got on Amazon. It holds my patterns, and you can just follow your pattern along with these magnets. It holds your pattern down, so if you have a PDF pattern, you print it off or somewhere, this will hold your pattern to it. And it has this nice little pocket to hold the rest of your pattern, and it's got a slot for your pens. My pen is elsewhere right now. And then it just snaps closed, and it holds everything secure. The magnets aren't going to move, and you're not going to lose your spot. Another thing this does is it snaps here. It re-snaps on itself. And you can use this. Let me back this camera up a little bit here. Perfect. And it sits on an angle like that. It has a couple snaps, so you can adjust it as needed. So if you need this more of an angle, it works just like that. Another thing that I use sometimes, if my hands start cramping up and I really want to finish it, my project, or I just want to keep it in, I use this. It's just a lotion. It helps take away the pain here. I think it's like an arthritis lotion. Works great. And I think that's it. I think I covered everything. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. If you have a pattern you really want to know how to work the stitch, shoot me a message and I will try to cover that in a video. And I also want to mention that when I reach 2,000 subscribers, I'm going to start giving away some of my patterns for free. I'm going to do a giveaway each video to give away a pattern to anybody who comments. And that is when I reach 2,000 subscribers. And I hope you like this video and you will subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And I will see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.